Hey, 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 good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Wellbeing TV, where we share hints, tips, and advice about the foundations of well-being. It is Peter and Sal here from Strong Healthy Women. Good morning, Sal. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Is that good, thank you, full of energy, or is it just like a mediocre energy, or is it like a blah type energy?
No, it's a good energy. We finished in the studio an hour ago, just over an hour ago. Lots of energy in there, so it was good.
Mhm.
Good energy.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, so this morning we thought we'd just, have a quick chat about energy. And I know that sometimes you can just wake up and you just don't feel energized. You just feel like blah. You ever had
Yes,
those days? Yeah,
absolutely.
so if you're listening in today, post below, tell us whether you've ever had those days. I know I personally have. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about, well, how do you, when you're feeling like that, how do you change that energy level around? And so what can you do when you're at an all-time low? And I think one of the things that is really important to be aware of when it comes to energy is that a lot of it comes from, the physical being. There's other aspects as well too. And so if we just simply change what we're doing physically, that can automatically increase our energy. So it's the morning that you go, I'm feeling blah. That's the morning that you should really like get out, go for a walk, do a 5-minute exercise session in your pajamas, in your bedroom, just so you can start to create that little bit more energy in your physical being. So, Sal, do you have any tips about how to change yourself physically to give yourself more energy? I'm throwing you on the spot.
You are throwing me on the spot. One thing I
Mm,
think to take stock of first is your mood. Like,
yes.
sometimes if we're feeling, we're not even going to acknowledge that we may have that energy there, and we're just going,
Yeah.
well, "Oh, I've had a bad day, not doing
Yeah.
it." But you could be still full of energy. So I think it's very important to acknowledge what sort of mood you're in. And if it's early
Yeah.
morning, one exercise I love is when you wake up. If
Yeah.
you wake up in a bad mood, why have you woken up in a bad mood? Like nothing has
Mm,
literally happened for the day. You're still in bed. It's
yeah.
still a beautiful day. The sun's just risen. So,
Yeah.
wonderful exercise is just to lay in bed and smile.
Great, great. Yeah, okay. That's and that actually changes you physically as well too. So there are
Yeah.
three aspects of changing yourself to give yourself more energy. The first part of it is physical. The second part of it is the thoughts that are going on in your head, and then the third part of it is what you're focusing on. And so when we can, I think the first thing that we can all control like immediately is to change that shift physically. So, yeah, just to put a smile on your face can automatically change how you're feeling in your physical body. Just doing something like raising your hands above your head can change how you're feeling physically. Um, just moving your hands like you're running, just stepping from side to side. So anything that moves you can change your physical energy. So if you've ever been sitting at a desk and you just like got ants in your pants and you just keep moving, you are moving, which is great, you're fidgeting, but your body is actually saying to you, hey, listen to me, you need to get up and do something because I need to actually replenish the energy that's going on here. So I'm starting to get a bit antsy-pantsy. So what you can do is actually just, if you've got a sit to stand desk like I have, then what you could do is just simply stand. And as you're standing, you can use one of those little balls under your feet So you could be doing something with your feet. You could be, mimicking a marching process. There could be so many different things. You could simply pick up your laptop or computer and you can move to a different spot in the house. Because when you're looking at something entirely different, then you're changing that physical aspect of your energy as well. So have you ever done any of those types of things, Sal?
I have.
Mm-hmm.
A skateboard under my desk, as you know, One Direction.
That's great.
And yes, and I just skate back and forth, side to side with my legs. So that keeps my legs moving. If, as you were just saying, being in my office, sometimes I'll just take my laptop out to the front patio and just sit in the sun and work.
Yes.
And that's just such an energy level just by moving it outside.
And I think that if you are sitting at your desk and you can actually see some nature outside, some trees, some sunshine, some wherever you are in the world, you might be seeing snow right now. So whatever you can see that is nature-based, then that is certainly going to change how you're feeling physically. So that's the first aspect of it. Do what you need to do in order to change it. It could be that you're going to do 10 push-ups on the kitchen bench. That's going to change how you're feeling physically. It's going to energize you from the inside, and it's going to come radiating outside. So then the second aspect is like, what are you thinking? Like, what's the mood like? Which is what you were, alluding to there before, when you put a smile on your face. And it's very true that, catching ourselves and what we're thinking about. So if we're in that mindset where it is all about the negative, and I'm not saying that we need to be positive all of the time, but if we are sitting in that negative framework, then what are we, which is point number 3, what are we focusing on? What is it? So if we focus on those negative energies, those negative thoughts, then we're just going to get more of them. So it's just going to keep depleting our energy. So we need to be able to control those thoughts that we're having and then change them so that they're in a more positive light. So how do we change that focus in our mind? So, one of the things that I find of benefit, and I know you do this too, Sal, is to grab a journal out and to write in your journal about how you're feeling. I think every single person should be a journaler, and really, really taking that time to fully connect with how they're feeling, because when you can do that, you can really feel the energy change in your body. And we all want more energy, let's face it. When you wake up of a morning, you want to feel energized. You don't want to be waking up at 50% or 60%. You want to be waking up, fully charged, like you did when you were a kid. Remember, mum and dad would come in, wake you up, come on, get out of bed, and you do the little wiggle and stretch, and you go, whoo, and you jump out of bed, you get dressed, and you go all day long. And so that energy just kept on going. But the other aspect of energy was that mum and dad probably packed your lunch for you. You didn't have to think about it. You didn't have to make decisions and choices all day long like we do now. So what we have to do is set our mind up right first thing in the morning. It's like, well, what actions am I going to take today? What are the things that I'm going to focus on that are going to move me forward to having a more energized day? What are those things? So do you have things that you do each day that give you that energy that you're looking for?
I have a routine. So, like I put the washing on. I get up early every morning. So my alarm goes off at the same time every morning, 5 o'clock.
Yep.
I do a little bit of meditation, not long, 5-10 minutes in the studio.
Yep.
That's all. On the days that we have our FitFlex studio, so if I'm doing the morning session, when I finish that session, I don't go and sit down. I go and do something to keep me fit, So whether it's vacuuming, milking, whatever, because I know my housework
Yep.
has to. And I like the idea of having it done early in the morning, then knowing that the house, I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day.
Yep. So, ladies, if you're tuning in today, are you that person who likes to get your housework done in the morning, or you are that person who likes to get it done later in the day, or are you that person who goes, well, guess what? It's not important right now, and what's more important is for me to exercise, and that is me. So, the cleaning of the house is not a priority in my book. Now, I've got to say that it used to be a priority in my book, but when I had a health issue in my 40s and went, I need to change my life, what's important to me, it was like, well, what's important to me is my physical being, my mental well-being, the relationships that I have in my life. They're more important to me than whether I've got a clean or dirty floor. And not that I'm like super messy, that cell, I'm not super messy, but I don't spend, a great deal of time making it that thing that I want to do, because my routine is different to your routine, and that's okay, because we're all unique and we all approach each and every day very differently, and we all find that thing that energizes us. So you getting your housework done and feeling satisfied that you've accomplished that is the thing that gives you energy. Whereas for me, getting out of bed, so I do a little bit of stretching, a little bit of meditation, and then I go out and I walk or hike or jog, something along those lines, and I get 10,000 steps in regardless. So even when I am working in the FitFlex studio, I will be up super early and I'll get part of it done. Then I do the workout and then I go and get the rest of it done. So it's like, that's how I feel accomplished. So that 10,000 steps are done. They're done. So because I aim to get more than that during the course of the day. So I just want that minimum happening. And then I do my workout. So this morning I've done my workout out on the rails in the washdown area where the horses are. I love, pulling myself up on bars and pushing off bars and all that type of stuff. But that is me. That is what gives me that energy that I need. So you need to find what works for you. But there are some basic things that you can do each and every morning that are going to help you feel more energized. And the first thing is to think about when you were a child, what did you do when your mum and dad woke you up? You did the little wiggle, didn't you? Did you do the little wiggle? You stretched your arms up? You didn't? What did you do? You just roll over and get out?
I'm sure I stretched in bed, but I wasn't wiggling.
It was some type of stretch. You do the arms up over the head. Yeah, see, I'm the dancy one in this relationship. So we would move, and that would get that fluid moving in our body, and that would automatically mean that we would feel more energized. It's something so basic, but it's the one thing that every single one of us can do. Don't roll over, don't get straight out of bed. Move yourself, stretch your body while you're in bed. That's going to give you a little bit more energy. I think the next thing is to get your mind in the right place. And so simply just thinking about, what is this one thing that I am grateful for today? What is it? And it doesn't have to be anything massive. It's just it could be something that put a smile on your face the day before. It could be something from the past that you're thinking about that gives you that warm feeling inside. So whatever it is, think about something to be grateful for. And then I think the third thing, Sal, is to go, well, okay, what action am I going to take today? What action means that I am moving forward to the life that I want, whatever that happens to be? Because as I said, we're all unique, we're all different, we all want a different life. And so what we need to do is know, well, what is that life that we want? What action am I going to take? And that tiniest step, we're going to keep coming back to this all the time, that small step that you do consistently has the biggest impact on your life. Small steps. Sal, anything to add to any of that?
One thing I will add though, if you continually feel depleted of energy, maybe go and get checked out, because it could be a lot more than just, you know, the feeling blah. It could be something that you do need to get checked out by your doctor.
Yeah, absolutely. It totally could be medical based. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And I know just recently Paul's been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and it was really interesting with so we've gone down both tracks of in the medical profession. So, you know, your traditional medicine as well as your alternate medicines. And one of the things that his naturopath has picked up is that the medications that he is actually on, she said, is there any wonder that you actually don't have any energy? She said, you know, all of these things are draining you of all of this, you know, all of these vitamins, all of these minerals, and all of these things mean that you feel like you have no energy. So what we need to do is just, you know, get a handle on some of these things to give you more energy. And so, yeah, absolutely brilliant to get yourself checked out so you know. And as I said, you know, look at both aspects. You don't need to just look at one path as well too. Go with what works. And if you're not quite feeling quite right about what you hear, then, you know, get that second opinion, because that's what's important as well too. Yeah. Love that tip, Sal. Love that tip.
The other thing too is, don't be afraid to say that you know, I know that with you and Paul, you've been working with his doctor as well as the naturopath.
It's naturopath and nutritionist, yeah.
And finding that balance with his medication.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to ask your, you know, if your doctor or your naturopath, if they can work together, and to find that balance if you do happen to need medication or anything like that.
Absolutely, Sal. You know, your traditional and your non-traditional medicines, they should be able to complement one another. And, you know, what you talk to one about, you should be able to talk to the other about as well too, so that they are working in unison to get you the best health that you can possibly get.
Yes.
Yeah, that's extremely good advice. And I know for him, you know, with what he has, the average person is taking 8 of these pills of a morning and then 8 of an evening. He has found that 2 in the morning and 1.5 in the evening is what is working for him. You know, but he just went, I'm not going to 8 and 8. That's just ridiculous. So he started at 4 and 4. And well, actually, no, he started at 8 in the morning, and then he checked out what the half-life was of the medication. So half-life just basically means how long it's going to stay in your system. And so he realized that if I don't actually, so what would happen is the painkiller would be wearing off at this time, and that was what was causing him from not sleeping, because he needed to actually go, well, hang on a minute, I need to change it and put some medication at the other end of it. And sometimes, you know, they might just give you this medication, say, take 8 tablets a day or 4 tablets a day. And it's like looking at those things. It's your health, and you get to ask the questions about it, and you get to, you know, find out what works for your body. Because what works for one is not necessarily going to work for the other as well too. Great tips. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, ladies, that is it for us today. What we want you to do is to think about, like, rate your energy today, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being you're the supercharged and 1 you're just being blah. You know, where are you? And like, what can you do? So what physical thing can you change of a morning that's going to give you some energy? What thoughts are stopping you from feeling like you're energized? So what are the things that are pulling you down? And where can you change your focus, and what action can you take? And I think if you can implement that every single morning, you're going to feel a lot more energized. Thanks for joining me today, Sel.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a beautiful weekend. It's Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody, and we'll see you all on Monday for Talking Wellbeing TV. See you soon. See you, Sel.
Bye. Bye, Peter.
Bye.